We're only a minute 52 into the show, and I already got to give myself one of those. Anyways, welcome in, everybody. Joe Quills here with you on this Tuesday night. It is election day. In Chinatown, it's erection day. And, well, yeah, it is what it is. But, anyways, welcome in, everybody. Joe Quills here with you. And here on a Tuesday night where I was debating whether to have a stream tonight. We'll get into that in a second, but we got some NFL news here. I do not have that up. There we go. And I forgot to put this one up because I'm a dope. Just a reminder, we're here every Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, uh, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 4 o'clock Hawaii now, since they are back in the standard, since we're all in standard time now. And if you're elsewhere, please consult your Google machine. So, got a lot coming up here, and we will talk a little bit about Joel Embiid. Um, Talk about the NFL trade deadline. I'll just give you a recap of all the trades that occurred, and I mean, I may give some thoughts, but I'll just give you the facts that this person got traded here and that person got traded there. Basically, the trades from today. We'll go through that. Um, Little snafu with Dabo Sweeney this morning when he went to vote. Tell you about that. Shohei Tani had his boo boo fixed, his shoulder, and whatever comes up. So I do want to set some ground rules tonight since it is election night. I am going to set some ground rules because of the fact that we are a mostly political free zone. Now, we are going to briefly get into politics with Dabo Sweeney, but other than that, you know, we've survived the last 6 months, 8 months since the first primary, whenever that was, 10 months. We survived not having to deal with too much stuff. And the one thing that I ask tonight is that we do not get too political tonight. Um, I'm sure there's going to be one side that's going to be happy. There's going to be one that is not. And, depending on which side wins, the other side may blow a gasket and the other may just, do whatever. Um, but we do have um, election night here. And, you really, we really have to take into account something that we have not had in 3 election cycles, probably. And that is that if you if you state an opinion or you lean a little bit to the side that we don't like, then you're you're wrong and blah blah blah. We don't listen to anybody anymore. And it's just frustrating because it's not only just that, it's like, you start telling me, you start telling others all this stuff, and it's like, well, where's the basis behind? Oh, they just said it on TV. Well, that's not a good um, not a good argument. So what I'm hoping tonight, even though I did make a joke on the alert that some people would be getting on their phones. If you've been waiting for if you've been waiting for the stream for more than 4 hours, you may be eligible for compensation. It's a joke. It's a joke I've been joking about all day because you may be sitting in whatever line for numerous hours today, and you may be saying, "Man, I'm really tired." You have to stand here 2 3 hours, and The one thing is, I will say this. I know with me in Pennsylvania, they only have two machines for each polling location, each district, whatever. So you don't have any um, you don't have any speed to this. Now, granted, you do have a major election tonight. I mean, history is going to be made either way, whether it be somebody having non-consecutive terms as president or the first female president. You know, that's just about as political I'm going to get. But the fact that we no longer have to listen to both sides, trash the other side, and stuff like that, I just don't want to deal with it. So, um, so if it's within reason, like if it's something factual, like so and so wins this state or something like that, even though we're watching whatever network we want to choose to watch, okay, that's fine. But if it gets out of control, then we may have to do something about that. But truthfully, let's just have some fun tonight. Let's talk some sports. Let's joke around. All that stuff. You know, let's enjoy the fact that the political process is over until your local races. The next set of primaries next spring, whatever comes up in Pennsylvania, whatever comes up in New Jersey, Delaware, or wherever you are. But please be respectful of others. Not everybody wants to see a comment about Trump or Harris or anything else here. We don't want to deal with it tonight. No matter if who wins or who loses, especially if something happens between now and when I get done. But the one thing I will say is just respect each other here tonight, especially tonight um because the one thing I did was, and I was thinking about it for a couple of weeks now, and I was thinking, do I stream or do I not stream? Now I can hear William Shakespeare right now if he were alive today. To stream or not to stream? That is the question. So I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. Um, you know, I'm, I vote in pretty much every election, but I don't go around saying, I voted for this, I voted for that, especially in public. You know, you know, and that's why if you're friends with me on Facebook, I couldn't do it on X because if I change profile picture, they won't let me stream for a week on there. They'll have to say, well, I got to prove that you're you and blah, blah, blah. And God knows what else happens, especially since Elon runs that shithole. Um, but I really thought about just taking the night off like it was a holiday. And by the way, why isn't Election Day not a real holiday here in the United States? Someone explain that to me. Because some people put in a full day and then they go to vote after work, or they go to work before they start work. But I just think that this is a safe space. I don't want to deal with politics tonight. We're still going to watch. I'm still going to be watching on my TV here just to see what happens. You know, I just want to keep up with everything here because, even though I don't want to talk about politics, I kind of want to consume the history because I'm a bit of a nerd. I may talk sports, I may talk horse racing, I may talk about all that stuff. Uh, SJ says, nice shirt. Gee, I wonder who I got it from. She's with Bull is like the t-shirt I had tonight. So um, now, now that is also the name of John Kruk's new autobiography that's going to come out soon. Bullet's like because he lost a testicle because of cancer or whatever. But uh, no, seriously. But that's what I mean. It's a political free zone tonight. Occasionally, you know, something will slip by the goalie, and that's fine. And I'm going to bring up Dabo Sweeney just because I thought it was just a weird story. SJ, if you're going to be paying attention the whole night, um, don't ban. Um, just snooze them for 10 minutes or whatever you want to snooze them for. Just snooze them. Um, and then if they continue with excessive stuff. I mean, I can understand, like I said earlier, SJ. You know, I can understand something slipping through the goalie. You want to give an actual fact like this candidate won this state. Okay, that's fine. But if we're going to get into all this crazy stuff where it gets out of control, then just snooze them. I don't care. Um, I mean, it's exactly why I thought about taking that night off tonight, but I want to have some fun with you guys, especially the fun we had last night because we were off the rails big time, even more than usual with me and Mike. So, um, and but thankfully the election process is over. Well, in terms of us, now it's just a matter of the people working the polls asking what comes after 11 team. It's 12 team and then 13. You get the idea. But I just don't want to deal with excessive political talk in here tonight. So just be kind to each other. Even if even well, she's one of my mods, but like let's say SJ were to say the Eagles suck. Okay, well I know that's what you think because you are a Giants fan. So but if that gets excessive, then I might have to remove her as a mod. I won't do that, but you get the idea. But you know, but basically what I'm saying is, you know, if something gets excessive tonight, especially political, I just don't want to deal with the political bullshit tonight. That's all. So, um, so let's just have fun tonight, you know. And if we have history made, I'll even announce it. Fuck it. But only because I'll just state a fact. Like for example, NBC said that Kamala won Rhode Island. Okay, that's not that big of a deal, but basically what I'm saying is if there's something that's big news later on the night, then we'll state that breaking news fact. But just the fact that we have, you know, we don't go one extreme to the other and it gets out of control. Other than that, we're not going to deal with that shit tonight. So, but but we're going to get to the sports here tonight, and that's what we're here for. And let's begin with Joel Embiid, and he got 3 games for pushing Marcus Hayes of the Philadelphia Inquirer / Daily News. 3 games without pay for shoving him after Saturday's loss to the Grizzlies. And I specifically asked this last night because, those that are more in the know, more into the NBA. I mean, I watch, but I'm not like SJ. SJ is gotta watch basketball. But um, but you knew that something was going to happen because you knew once this news broke late Saturday night when I went to sleep early, um, you knew that there was going to be some repercussions. And it was announced today, 3 days, obviously. Joe Dumars said, mutual respect is paramount to the relationship between the players and media in the NBA. While we understand that Joel was offended by the personal nature of the origin of the reporter's claim, interactions must remain professional on both sides and can never turn physical. Okay, you know, I mean, he probably could have said, "I'm going to kill you, motherfucker," in his African accent, whatever country he's from, I forget. Not that big of a deal, but um, you know, and I understand why he went after Marcus Hayes because he went after family. Now, granted, I can understand you're going after him because he has a new contract. He's making $60 million a year. And you got to understand also, you had the process here in Philadelphia where we're going to tank. We're not going to play certain players. We're going to limit Joel Embiid to a certain number of minutes his first year or two. You know, everything was scripted. You know, can't play more than 24 minutes tonight. Can't play more than 26. Can't play more than 28. That first year or so that he was actually playing, that's what it was like. And I really think that, you know, Marcus Hayes is in the wrong as well. And he's lucky that um he's lucky that I'm not an athlete and he would have said something about my family, even though I may not agree with everybody or get along with everybody in my family. But I will tell you this, it would have been a lot more than a push. Now, it may be that my teammates on whatever team I'd be on would have gotten away before I pushed, I punched, or whatever. But I would be out for the kill. But, you know, I wouldn't do anything. I mean, but, it would just be that, I'm sure that my teammates would be like, they would understand why I'm going after him, but they also understand I am, why I'm mad at him, why I want to push him against the wall, punch him, whatever. But they want to protect me so that I don't miss time on the court, on the field, whatever sport it is. But you can't do anything like that no matter what you do. And if it was reversed and Marcus Hayes did something to Joel Embiid, real world jobs, he would have been fired on the spot. But um, but this incident occurred Saturday night. It came in reaction to Embiid taking issue with a recent column by Hayes that mentioned Embiid's son and late brother, both named Arthur, while questioning Embiid's professionalism in effort to stay in shape. Okay, the professionalism and to stay in shape. Okay, that's fair criticism. Whether he did lose weight or coming out of shape or not, okay, that's fair criticism, whether it's true or not. Was there a knee injury? Is the knee injury from January or February still bugging him? That's a legitimate question to ask as well, because it is more than just having whatever going on. But you know, but he brought family into it, and Marcus Hayes knows better. He's been with the Inquirer and Daily News for a long time, and it it's very it was very unethical what he wrote. Now, I still have not found that article. So I think they may have edited the article because they suggested it was the it was an original column that he saw. So, so after shouting at Hayes during an exchange of words, Embiid shoved him. And I can tell you for a fact from watching the local shows that he's been on, he is a pompous ass, plain and simple. And Mike would agree with me if he was here tonight, in person especially. He would agree that he is a pompous ass. You know, he's, you know, I mean, there's a way that you handle things, and I can understand questioning the professionalism, especially when you just got a new contract. I think it was 60 a year, whatever it was. But he hasn't played this year because of his injuries. Um, Now, the one thing I questioned last night, and Mike said to me that Embiid was not on this trip, so this may complicate some things with the three game suspension because according to ESPN's Bobby Marks, the suspension will begin whenever Embiid is deemed ready to return to the court. Now, who's going to deem this as ready to return to the court? Is it the Sixers? Is it an independent trainer, which I think that every NBA team should have because of the everybody load managing? Oh, I got an upset stomach. I got diarrhea. You know, you know. Oh, my knee is bothering me a little bit. Oh, I got a finger cut. I can't play. It hurts too much. You know, we're getting to that point where, I mean, they had to put writing in that in order to win an award, you have to you have to play in 65 of the 82 games. And that's how sad and how broken the NBA has become that you have to put these clauses in there. You know, I think that what some guys need to realize is, I mean, some people are not incentivized by these awards anymore, even so. But um, but I'm just wondering, is it really, you know, I mean, and the thing is, and this is probably 5 years ago, maybe longer. I mean, even shorter. Um, Bank Boy, happy birthday, man! Hope you're doing well, and hope you got spoiled for your birthday too. Thank you. Yeah. Just coincidence. I wore it tonight with SJ here as well. Um, I didn't do any wash until later this afternoon, and I gotta I'm gonna be venting with um, the company with that brings in the laundry machines. But we'll get into that in a second. But so Embiid's going to lose $1,063,778 for 3 games. And Penguin AZ is here uh, on YouTube. Duh, I couldn't think of what it was off the top of my head. And Packers suck. Does that mean Jordan loves swallows? Uh, but seriously though, now the question I have is if he was ready to come back, meaning Embiid. Now, granted, you could always just fly out of Philly to LA or Phoenix like that, whether it be a private plane or commercial, even though you would think a private plane for Embiid because, he is 7'1", 7'2". Um, but I would think that if he was ready to play, he would be on this trip. So I don't think we can actually know when he'll be coming back. And they suggested, well, if he was ready to play on Wednesday, well, first of all, he would be in LA right now, or he would have been sent back to Philadelphia because he can't play for 3 days, for 3 games that is. But There, as of 5 p.m. earlier today, there was no injury report for the Sixers, and B could potentially be upgraded to return to play. Now, considering the Sixers did have manipulated things for many years under this ownership, it would not be surprised if they say, "Oh, he's available to play," and then all of a sudden, "Oh wait, he's still got an issue with that knee." But if he's deemed to play, ready to play on Wednesday, which I don't know how if you're not even on the trip, um, Friday's game against the Lakers and Sunday's game back in Philly against the Charlotte Hornets would be his 3 games. Um, his first game back would be Tuesday against the Knicks in the opening game of the NBA Cup action. Now, how are the Sixers going at? How are they feeling about the NBA Cup? Because it's also a regular season game, but you know the Sixers are 1-4 right now because they had no Paul George until last night. You had no Embiid. There's really a lot of stuff that's going on here. So, um, but if the suspension doesn't begin until Friday, he would miss the Tuesday game, and his next game would be his first home game. His first game back would be Wednesday, which would also be at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I don't know. So your guess is as good as mine there. Personally, I think Joe Dumars did a lot worse than Joel Embiid did, but but that was a different era of NBA basketball compared to now. So, but I mean, I stand with Joel Embiid. I don't blame him for doing that, but I mean, you have to make an example of him. I mean, if you look at on the Joe Dumars side and the NBA side, you have to do something so that you don't have this happening with other players around the league, and especially somebody who ends up taking shots at your family. Um, but it's yeah. I mean, it was unfair what Marcus Hayes did, but you have to you have to model yourself as a good citizen, and you can't just be pushing reporters around because somebody wrote something about you, even though it was very defamatory. So um, I'm not happy with the 3 game suspension. It's just that we're just in this situation where it's like, well, when does it begin? Because we don't have anything to go by with this. So, it's like, when do we start it? And also I would question if they do start tomorrow, then why tomorrow when you never made it on the trip? But he's going to be missing 3 games, and he won't get paid for them. Um, so we had the NFL trade deadline today, and the Eagles were silent today. Now, I don't think it's, you know, when I was looking at an Inquirer article, because I was trying to get all the information earlier on the Inquirer website because of the fact that they had a running log during the day. And, once 4 o'clock hit, they probably just said, screw this log, we'll just close it up. So it said that the Eagles stood pat at the trade deadline. I call bullshit. I personally think that nobody wants to trade with Howie Roseman. Um, I mean, we've seen some of the trades that he's made over the last few years, and he's and his drafts have been pretty good the last couple of years as well, between trades and getting AJ Brown and stuff like that. Um, uh, but it's really but with the Eagles when if you're a general manager and you see an area code of 215, 267, Um, 410, 610, I mean, 484, 445, or 609-856 if he lives in New Jersey. You know, is it like, is it like, as I grab my phone here to pretend that my phone's ringing? Oh, fuck this guy. I ain't trading. I'm not trading anything. We're gonna get the shit fleeced out of us. But, you know, um, and I'm going to get to that penguin. Um, but it's really a question of um, did they really stand pat or did they just not get anything done? And I lean towards the latter, but maybe they did stand pat. I don't know. But I think Detroit. Well, Detroit made a trade earlier. They made a trade today. That's right. But um, Green Bay dealt Smith. Hurt is a fan of him, but I get the business deal cleared up cap space. Um, let's see here. Let me see if I can find it here. Uh, Penguins. That trade today? Because I might have to dig for it because I don't. Let me see here. Um, and if you responded, I will look in a second here. Um, oh, Preston Smith was the. Um, I don't want that video. Damn it. So Preston Smith got traded to the Pittsburgh Squealers. I mean Steelers. So when he went to Pittsburgh for a third rounder. So yeah. So um, yeah. So he was traded today. I mean, I admit work was off the wall today because um, everybody got 4 hours to vote today. Um, I don't even think SJ knows what I did for 4 hours, but you know, I did say to Mike last night, I said, well, what happens if I have to run down to City Hall uh, to fix my ballot or anything like that? So, but anyways, yeah, losing a veteran sucks. Yeah, especially a Green Bay team that could be. Well, Green Bay right now is in the playoffs, so you know, uh, maybe they have something in the works on the free agent, whatever. I mean, if you're not signed right now, you're basically, if you're not signed right now, you're basically going to be sitting at home the rest of the year for the most part. But you get what I mean. Um, but let me go back over here. So I'm going to go chronologically according to ESPN here, and if I repeat myself here, I apologize with some trades here. Um, um, the morning. Oh, wait, there's more posts here. Okay, so it began with um, Zadarius Smith going from Cleveland to the Lions. They were seeking defensive health and depth after Aiden Richardson's leg injury. Um, the Lions also get a seventh round draft pick. The Browns get a fifth in 25 and a sixth in 26. Um, um, Khalil Herbert goes from the Bears to the Bengals after Zach Moss got put on the IR today because of a neck injury. Um, uh, Cowboys got Jonathan Mingo from the Carolina Panthers today. So he goes to the Cowboys and he gets to face the Eagles this weekend. Well, he just pushes it up a couple of weeks because the Eagles play Carolina in December. Um, let's see here. Um, but it may be one of those scratch your head deals because this is from Bill Barnwell on Twitter. Since the start of 2023, Jonathan Mingo ranks 95th out of 104 wide receivers in yards per route run. He was, uh, you know, so that may be something that uh, uh, you may be questioning that deal if you're a Cowboys fan. Um, Eagles didn't make any trades, but Tim McManus said that Vic Fangio said that he had not heard the Eagles being in on any deadline trades. Um, Mike Edwards, the veteran safety from the Bills, was released today. They tried to work a trade, did not materialize. Um, um, Marshawn Lattimore went to the Commanders, and I had a story here that did not get. I did not get to. Um, it kind of went. It kind of got stuck with my other papers here at this desk here that I had this temporary desk. Um, I basically, um, I basically said everybody wants to go to Washington now because you're going from Dan Snyder to the new guy who's part of. He's also under the Sixers and the Devils. They see a totally different vibe in DC and also Dan Quinn also helps because he is a players type coach. So, the whole vibe is different in DC. So everybody wants to go there. I didn't read the whole article, but that's the gist that I got with that. Um, so Marcus Lattimore goes from New Orleans to, I just had a coffee and I'm still yawning. He goes from um, New Orleans to the Commanders. Um, but Lattimore is recovering from a hamstring injury right now that sidelined him in week 9. So he may not play against the Eagles next Thursday, Thursday the 14th. Um, Eagles in Washington in a battle for first place at the link. Um, the Jets traded for Mike Williams of the Jets, a wide receiver. The Jets get a 5th-round pick. Um, Aaron Rodgers reacted to the trade. I'm not going to play it because probably get copyrighted because it's ESPN. Um, Steelers also took a hard look at Darius Slayton in the hunt for a wide receiver. New York values Slayton, a 2025 free agent who has a pair of 100-yard games this year. That's according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. Um, um, the Colts announced midday that um, Anthony Richardson was off limits. There was a trade for the Packers D.E. Smith, Preston Smith, I should say. Um, they gave up a seventh rounder for him. And of course, that Marshawn Lattimore trade with the Commanders and Saints, it's pending a physical as well. So that um, that was the Commanders' Twitter that said it's pending a physical. Um, Tre'Davious White goes to Baltimore for a 7th-round pick. I know. I saw this the other night. Tre'Davious White was trying to was looking for a trade. They were telling him to do his thing with that. 49ers got a sent a 7th-round pick in 26 for Khalil Davis. And then they go through the winners and losers and stuff like that. So they a lot of trades. Nothing along the lines of CMC a couple years ago, but still some some moves that what I like to call when we get to baseball season. I'm always the one that will tell you that especially with my Phillies, you don't necessarily need that sexy name, the superstar player. Sometimes you may, but you know, you don't necessarily need that name. You need somebody who's going to fill a piece in. And some of these teams felt that they needed a piece. Pittsburgh named defensive player. Commanders needed a cornerback. And teams like the Eagles, you know, did they stand pat? End up, did they end up not getting any calls answered? Were they thwarted because I ain't trading with this guy? Get him off my phone. Report a spam, stuff like that. So, but um, but yeah, he's um, he but trade deadline is over. You still have the practice squads if you see somebody sneaking around in there, or somebody becomes a free agent, you can go through that. But basically the rosters are set for the most part, and we'll see who the best team is. Lions and the Chiefs are two favorites right now, but things can change like that. We all know that very well. But so I do want to get into this, and I mean, this could be classified as the stupid shit I saw segment, but it's not really. But I mean, I like dumber stuff than this. But Dabo Sweeney went to vote today. He was told he could not vote today, and no, it wasn't because he lost to Louisville on Saturday night. So his Tigers lost to Louisville on Saturday night. And he was told he couldn't vote on Tuesday. Well, here's what happened. Of course, it is a red state. I'm just stating facts here. This isn't political segment. Don't go tell me, MAGA this, Harris that. I don't want any of that type of talk. But Sweeney, whose real name is William, went to vote on Tuesday. He explained that the voting system had locked him out, saying a William Sweeney had already voted last week. And I know you're saying, huh? Well, that is because his oldest son, Will, voted last week and not him. And that's why, and I can tell you this from me with my parents, and we would all go, a lot of times we would go at the same time. And when I would go with my parents to vote, all three of us at the same time, or if it was just my mom and me, or my dad and me, even for that matter, or even when I went by myself, because I did it before work, before realizing that we get 4 hours. And it's basically the last two elections have been so important that it's like, okay, you will get your 4 hours. So I will say this. You know, mine my name is listed as junior on there because obviously I'm a junior. And if I'm lucky enough to have kids, not only will he be the third, I'm also going to nickname him the Turd because he'll be the third and he's probably going to be a little shit. but but um Sweeney said they done voted me out of the state. We're 6-2 and 5-1 in the Atlantic Coast Conference, man. They done shipped me off. SHIPPED. So, so in order to remedy the situation, because it isn't a case of um, voter fraud. It was a simple mistake, probably something that they didn't realize could happen. He was able to complete a paper ballot and told there will be a hearing Friday to resolve this issue. Sweeney said, I was trying to do my best and be a good citizen, go vote. Sometimes doing your best ain't good enough. You just have to keep going through. You just have to keep going, though, keep figuring it out. So, the one thing is, and, I've been watching because, um, I watched a news conference tonight at 8 o'clock from the Philadelphia District Attorney, um, Larry Krasner. And that guy's a piece of work because, he lets if it's a minor crime, we're not going to we're not going to fight this in court. But even if it's murder, murder we'll worry about. But you know, for the first time in, and I know I'm teetering here onto the political scene here, but yesterday goes, if you really want to mess with the election process today, when he said it yesterday, meaning, if you really want to mess with it on Tuesday, meaning today, F around and find out. Now, I would have loved him to use the actual F word, but, he was a professional and just said, but, it just seemed like they were canvassing everything and there were two minor issues, but, nothing that major in the city of Philadelphia, at least. So I do know that there was an issue in Western Pennsylvania, but, I just don't. I've been keeping track of things just so that I just stay in the know, so to speak. I don't want to. Um, I don't want to be like, huh? You know, somebody says something to me, I can say, yeah, okay, well, I know what happened here. This is what I think happened. This is what that god awful DA said because he is a god awful DA. Um, but I try to keep track of things because of the fact that we have to. I mean, even if you're not politically motivated, um, I make my vote every election. I'm not going to, I'm not going to tell you who I voted for most cases. And if I do mention to somebody, it's going to be privately and in confidence because, do I care who Bank Boy voted for? In a way, yes, but in a way, no, because, like I said to SJ last couple of nights ago, I said, as long as you have an intelligent reason why you're voting, I'm okay with it. But the way things are now, it's just, well, why are you voting for? Oh, slogan this, slogan that. I'm not dealing with that. I want to deal with constructive thought here. And, sometimes I come up with some goofy shit from time to time. It happens. But I'm not, we're not going to be about, I don't want to deal with the political stuff tonight. But this was an interesting story that occurred. And, even though it does teeter into political, it is facts of stuff that occurred today. And, it's not, it's just a funny thing that happened, funny, strange, I should say, not funny, ha ha, but, it is what it is. So, Dabo, he ended up getting, um, getting to vote, but it was a provisional ballot or whatever they call it down there in South Carolina. So, I'm just peeking here um, on ESPN here. We do have our first college football playoff rankings. Um, And the thing is, this will be very interesting, and it's unfortunate that the first rankings came out the same night as the same night it, same night as the national election. You know, it's just unfortunate for the timing, but the top four teams right now are um, Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, and Miami. Um, and well, actually, but you have to adjust the brackets because, um, or do you? Hold on. So you have Penn State, Tennessee, Indiana, BYU, Notre Dame, Alabama, and Boise State rounding out the top 12. Um, because the top four seeds must be conference champions, the top four seeds are Oregon, Georgia, Miami, and the Storm Mormons of BYU. They would receive first round buys if the initial rankings were used on the 12th team bracket. Um, the first round matchups that you would have right now, as of today, um, Boise State at Ohio State, 12 versus 5. Because remember, the the group of five winner with the best ranking does get in. So they would get in as the Mountain West representative, um, or the group of five representative from the Mountain West. Um, Alabama, Texas. Wow. Notre Dame at Penn State. Go Irish. And Indiana and Tennessee. So things can change between now and December, um, but this is the first year with the 12-team playoff, and it should be interesting to see what happens here over the next couple of weeks. So, um, I mean, I'm a I'm a college football fan without a team, without a school. Um, you know, ASU still hasn't made the top 25. You know, all I have to say about Arizona State is, or I had to mess with Penguin. I've been messing with him too much lately. But but seriously, um, but I want to see how this is going to work out. And I don't have the college football game. I don't have a PlayStation or a Xbox anymore. Somebody hasn't been twisting my arm about that lately either. So, but um, but I mean, because the one thing is, even if you have the college football 25 game that came back this year, you can get a feel for how the playoff would work, even though I'm sure that there will be glitches in the game because if you watch reels like I do on Facebook and on Instagram, a lot of people do make fun of the the glitches that come up in the game. So you do have that from time to time, and I'm sure there's glitches in the game, and it's like, how the heck did that team make it? So, but um, but yeah, so um, but it'd be interesting to see. And we got appointment TV every Tuesday night at 7 or 8 o'clock, or before whatever game is on Tuesday night, because tonight was Maction night, where the Wickety Wickety Mac went to play. So uh, Penguin says that Arizona State is 6-2 and 3-2 in conference. I'm going to check that for you here. Um, you are correct, sir. Their two losses were to Texas Tech and to Cincinnati. Um, teams right at the same level in the standings. So it just depends on how bad they lost and also how strong or weak those other games are. Um, so yeah, they're going to be bowling at least, but they may not get into the tournament this year. But um, so one last story here that I'm planning on talking about here at least is Shohei Ohtani did have surgery today for his shoulder, and the one thing I will say is, one thing I noticed, and I think it was before Game 1, he had his, when they're doing it was either, I think it was Game 1. He had his jacket on while nobody else had a jacket on, and he's running like this with his left arm, like that. It's almost like, well, and thankfully he was, I doubt he would have been able to pitch, um, but he did have surgery on his non-throwing shoulder. He partially dislocated during the World Series. It was an arthroscopic procedure to repair a labrum tear and was performed by Neil Elitrosh in LA. The dislocation in his left shoulder was attempting to steal a base in Game 2 against the Yankees. So I think it was just a freak injury that occurs from time to time, and it's your star player. And they said that Shohei didn't show up for the series. Well, he did have an excuse after Game 2 with that injury. Um, you know, I just think that he would probably he probably would have. I mean, if he was pitching, oh my God, because when you wind up and stuff like that, it takes both arms to raise your arms. So you're used to doing things a certain way. You end up having to do something else. But you just have to realize that sometimes it is um, um, something that happens from time to time. So, but you know, but he will be ready for spring training next year. So, um, now my article from today, and I only shared it on Instagram, not Instagram, on Twitter and Facebook. I thought I did a damn good job, even if my horse didn't win, because I went with uh, I went with the election theme of, the the handicapper, the morning line handicapper endorses this guy, this horse to win, and blah blah blah, and we have this long shot, and we have this guy who will try to do this and that, and it was, and I said at the end, oh, by the way, and I approve this message. So even though the race occurred and my horse lost by about that much, which really pissed me off, um, check it out. It was a fun little article I did, and the idea came to me this morning. It's like, you know what? Let me do it like this just to get some laughs. So even though the timing is not good because the race is over, but it was a fun thing I had to say here. So um, so I'm just looking here real quick if there's anything else that occurred. Um, the Flyers did lose in Carolina tonight. Whoopee. Um, no basketball tonight because they give everybody the night off so that everybody can go vote. Um, NBA's back in action tomorrow. Golden State plays Boston tomorrow. And then the Sixers play the LA Clippers, as I mentioned before. Um, so got some more games from the MAC tomorrow on ESPN2 and ESPNU. And who knows what else will happen between now and then. Um, so this is going to be a shorter stream tonight. Um, now, next week, I'm going to have to stretch it out to 2 hours probably, but we'll see. We won't get into too many details about that, um, but that is it for now. I do appreciate everybody. Penguin, Bank, SJ. I think that's everybody, right? Yeah, and also happy birthday once again to Bank Boy. Um, hope you got spoiled today, and we're going to do it live again tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, and we will do it live again, and I'm going to do it again until I do it right. So that's it for now. Quick stream tonight, and let's enjoy the fact that this election is over, and we're just waiting for these damn results. So have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow night.